Good day everyone, welcome back to my channel. Right in front of you are all the Lian Li products. In fact, I've individually shown all my subscribers and viewers on how to actually connect each individual components like the Galahad and the streamers on this Uni Fan controller itself. Now today I'm just going to gather all the parts together and to show you how it's been connected to this Uni Fan controller. Now for those of you who are actually new, right, if you are unsure what I'm actually talking about, you can actually click on my description whereby all the videos are listed for you and you can view them on how to actually connect them, like each component, to this Uni Fan itself. Let's get into it. I'll first start off with the Galahad. This is actually a 240 AIO. If you have 360, you have 3 fans. Now it doesn't matter if you have 2 or 3 because the package itself, right, it does give you this kind of cables where you can connect 3 fans into one aRGB plug. Now, just to show you how to actually connect the fan load on the Uni Fan controller itself, you will need this splitter, the Y splitter, where you can actually connect your fan headers, and this will go to your unit. This is provided in the package when you bought your, when you buy your AIO. So this is how it goes. I'll just plug this to the fan header, and this is another fan that I'm going to plug over here, and leaving the end here, this is whereby you connect to your controller. I'll select output 1. See, it's plugged. Now as for the aRGB itself, you will need to actually combine the aRGB on the fans itself and the pump together. And how do you actually go by doing it? First, you will need to daisy chain this, where it comes with this cable. This is, I believe, the cable queue on the manual, which is here. And I do understand this is actually a 3 splitter whereby you can connect 3 fans. As I mentioned to you, right, you can plug with 2 or plug with 3. It depends on your AIO. So this is actually a 240, so I'll just plug this over here. This is actually the aRGB connector, and I'll plug this over here. Now having to say so, right, you can't plug this directly to the unit, not at all. Next thing you need to do, right, is to combine this to the aRGB from the pump itself and the fan itself, and this is provided in your unit again. This is actually not listed. This cable is not listed on the diagram itself. So just take note that there are 2 clips. One is 3 pin, one is 4 pin, and this is the standard aRGB connector. So what I'll do is actually I'll connect the pump to this and the aRGB of the fans to this. From here, this, you will need a converter, or you can actually purchase the aRGB cable kit from Lian Li. It looks something like this. This is something which I've actually created myself. So having to say to connect the standard aRGB connectors together, looking at the arrow, then you connect on this end to your output 1. Done. Now these are the streamer plus. You can't connect the streamers directly to the input itself. It's not going to work. So you will need to depend on the controller itself. One thing they did a very smart move is that they know that these strips are actually very heavy loaded. So that's why you need a controller itself. So I will plug this to the controller. This is for the dual 8 pin, and this is for the 24 pin. Now on the other end of the unit itself, let me just plug this in first. Make sure it's secured. Please do not force all the way in, alright? It's supposed to be this way. Now on the other end, as you can see over here, right, the centerpiece here is in fact to connect to your motherboard aRGB header, and the last one in fact is for the SATA cable. As I mentioned to you earlier, right, Lian Li did a smart move whereby not to overload the control unit of the Uni Fan itself, right, you are required to power up using a SATA to your PSU to power up the strips itself. And you can't, as I mentioned, you can't directly connect these two ends right to the input itself. So this is actually a safety measure whereby it will depend on this controller. And on the other end, whereby you have this cable here. Now all these cables are not labeled, so you will need to actually feeder it out. So you are required to have the SATA cable which supply the power, and this is whereby you connect to your unit, or should I say your controller, to your motherboard. But instead of connecting to a motherboard, right, there is a converter for you. Let me just plug this in first. Now, as I mentioned, if you can purchase the Lian Li aRGB kit, it will comes with this kind of cable. So again, standard aRGB connector, looking at the arrow, connect it. And at the end, you can plug to any of the outputs. I will do output 2. So you have your Galahad, plug, your fans, your pump, and your streamer. Now come to the fans. For case fan itself, if you are mounting all these components, including the case fans on a OL11 Mini from Lian Li or a OL11 Dynamic XL case, now you are actually able to plug 3 fans on top, 3 fans at the bottom, and 1 fan at the rear itself. Now I do not have so much fans, but I will just explain to you. 2 of these fans will have 3, assuming there is 3 from the top and 3 at the bottom itself, and this will be the rear. So you're provided with all these connectors here. So imagine that this is actually the top, and this is actually the bottom. And this is at the rear, for the rear fan. Now, having to say so, right, you might face some issues whereby your Uni Fan itself, okay, it's plugged in. Now, your Uni Fan itself left 2 output. So how are you going to connect 3 connection point, which is actually the top, the bottom, and the rear to this? Now, what I normally do, right, is that it's either using the bottom or the top. Imagine that this is actually, okay, let me just place it this way. This is the top, this is the bottom, and this is the rear. So imagine that you are to connect to this output here. How you're going to do it? You can either plug the end of the top fan that you have in 3 and 3 over here, the top fan to one output, and to combine these two, the rear and the bottom, to connect to the last output. Let me just show you how. Assuming this is actually the top and it has 3 fans, I can actually directly connect to the Uni Fan controller, not a problem. Okay, this is plugged in, this is plugged in. Now I'm only left with 1 output. What should I do then? What I can do is, at the end of this, right, first with the fan connector, I will have a splitter. This is actually a Y splitter, a PWM Y splitter. Make sure you get the correct one. You can connect to the fan itself, and right at the end, right, you can plug to output 4, the last output. And next, this is actually a GST 3-pin 2 mil to 1 female plug, where I can actually combine these 2 fans. See, these are the aRGBs. I can connect them. Again, I can connect straight to here. You might be saying that, oh, I will be overloading because I add 1 more fan in. Do not worry, because as I mentioned, you have 3 fans and this is the 4th fan. And each output of the control unit, or should I say the output from the Uni controller itself, right, it allows up to 4 fans, so you will be safe. So let me take you to my desktop and I'll show you how it shines and how the fan reacts. Now I do understand right now it's actually in a mess because I didn't actually arrange them properly. Just to orientate you, the 2 radiator fans, this is actually the Galahad block, or should I say the water block, and the streamers itself is reacting because I've actually connected the controller, the streamers controller, to the SATA connection. That's why it's actually heating up. And the top fans, where I mentioned to you there is 3, bottom fans there is 3, and this rear fan is actually connected, or should I say daisy chain together with the 3 fans at the bottom. Now make sure that you connect them properly, and one thing to take note that this Galahad pump itself, right, the connector itself, please connect this to the motherboard CPU header, or should I say the fan header itself, and run at full speed. Reason being, right, I've actually mentioned to all my viewers and subscribers that if you would not run it at full speed, right, when the pump goes irregular rotation, it will hurt the pump. Take note on this. Now before I connect the unit with the USB connector and the I should say the Uni Fan controller for the USB plug and the SATA connector, I will need to switch the controller over here for the streamers to activate to use motherboard mode, which in return is actually using the Uni Fan controller to actually control the aRGBs. So by doing so, right, I will need to actually hold on the M1 button. When it's off, right, then I will connect first the USB. Now you will notice that the streamer will react once I connect this in. Reason being, right, yes, it's taking instruction from the Uni Fan controller, and reason why it's powering up, right, is because of the controller itself. It does supply power, so it's not overloading this control unit, as I mentioned to you earlier. Now I will connect to the fan. I hope I will not hit anything. The fans will be spinning. Let me just double check. Okay, so right now I connect to the SATA. As you can see here right now, all the fans are spinning and the aRGB are all lighted up. Now let me just switch this quiet for a while. It's getting too noisy. Now individually, as you can see on my control or my dash panel itself, right, there's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now for 1 is in fact my block. I can actually change to other colors. Let's say I were to apply static. See, it went static together with my radiator fans because they are in one set. Then for 2, right, is in fact my streamers. So if I were to change to other colors like runaway, if I were to apply, oh, this is already, oh, okay, sorry about that. Let me see if I could do this runaway. See, it follows. This is 2. Now for this and this, right, 3 and 4, 3 is the top fan, which is this. I will set it, let's say, to mixing. See, it's doing the mixing. Else this 2 is not touched. Do take note that the bottom and the rear is actually connected, or maybe I should actually change to static so you can actually have a better picture. I would just set to static colors, apply. So this is actually static color. Now for this, which is actually the output 4, I will switch, let's say, to staggered. See, it reacts. I can actually do lots of different combination. I can even control the fan RPMs individually as how they are connected to the output itself. So there you have it. I've actually shown you how you actually connect all these components, all the Lian Li components into one unit on one unit controller itself. So I hope you can actually understand. Now if you do not understand, you can actually rewind my video, or to actually take a look at the individual videos that I've actually done, like how to actually connect the Strimer to the Uni Fan itself, how to connect the Galahad to the Uni Fan itself, and etc. Alright then, I hope you actually enjoyed what I've actually shown you. If you like my content, do subscribe to my channel and to click on the notification bell button. Till then, take care, goodbye, see ya.